Do you feel like a fly rod that I love? I don't know. Are you questioning your existence at the moment? Probably. Dudes, check out this rod sock. Look at that thing. It's absolutely massive with 2 tips. Ooh, that's bright blue. Take one of our tips out here. Should probably take the price tag off. Nothing like a big bright orange sticker on a brand new rod, eh? Oh, that's a sick reel seat. That thing ain't ever coming off of there. That's smart. That's smart for a big game saltwater setup right there. All right. See, I've never casted this rod before. Ooh. Let's see how she does. My goodness, that feels good. Gosh dang it. That was smooth. Smooth, smooth, smooth. Where's my head? Let's just see. Keep it close. Wow. Wow, that thing just wants to send it. That's got a lot of power in there. It just wants to send it. And send it, it can. Oh my goodness. That is sweet. So I was gonna give you guys the long story short, but I think I'll just give you the long story. There's a shop in town called Fisherman's Corner, and it's like a gun store, fishing store, hunting store, and they have like a fly section that's about this big. And there's like 3 or 4 fly rods. There used to be materials, but they're not there anymore. And so like 3 years ago, I went and checked it out. And there was this 11 weight St. Croix sole just sitting in the corner. And I was like, an 11 weight? Really? Like in Duluth? Like that's very odd. This is very steelhead, trout culture. Like selling somebody on bass fishing is kind of like a hard sell up here. It's just very, you know, people up here drive down to the driftless, people down there drive up here to fish the brule. People don't really target bass, pike, and muskie up here. So an 11 weight is like a rare find. And the sole is kind of a very unique rod. Came out, I think, like 2016, 17 maybe. So a little bit ago, but not forever ago. And it won Best in Show at ICAST, Best New Fly Rod. And it's a really unique rod, and that it's a massive one-piece butt and midsection, and there it is. There's only one ferrule, and it's way the heck up here in the tip. I think it's 27 inches, the last 27 inches of the rod, and it comes with 2 tips. And so it's their goal at making a 2-piece rod that can kind of pack down and be a little bit more forgiving, that tracks and casts and fishes like a 1-piece. And so I was fishing with my buddy this weekend, and he was telling me that the sole's just, he loved it. It was a great stick when it was out. And I just was like, I wonder if Fisherman's Corner still has that. So sure enough, I went back this morning and ta-da, here it is. The 11 weight St. Croix sole. So you just saw my first ever cast. I mean, I've never touched the thing before until 5 minutes ago. Tracks straighter than straight. Makes a really, really nice loop shape. Great taper to the rod. It just wants to dump line. Like the thing's got energy for days. I do have, I think it's a 910 reel on it. It's a little heavy kind of in the back. I can feel some weight back here. But I don't know, it's also an 11 weight. Yeah, that thing just tracks. It just tracks and tracks and tracks. Oh, I might cast it again. I'll start talking here in a little bit. I want to do some more casting. There's crap. I didn't realize that was that far of a cast. Like the thing just wants to go. And so that's sweet. Like that's just, it tracks right, it feels right, it dumps line like a champ. It's just lovely. And so my buddy who was telling me about this, you know, I find it quite interesting how sometimes like award-winning rods, they like come and go in the industry pretty quick. Like they're there for like 2 or 3 years and then they're gone. And so I was looking at some reviews, and people are talking about how, you know, the one-piece feel, it'll really catch you off guard. Like it takes you back to smooth, like almost like fiberglass feeling, like it's like a fast glass type tooling. Very parabolic, kind of one-piece flex all the way into the butt. It's not super fast at the tip, like it doesn't feel like a fast rod, but it has the power of a fast rod. It's really cool. Now it also has 3 of St. Croix technologies that I really liked back in like the Legend Elite Salt, Kelly's Bank Robber. So it's got ART, IPC, and FRS. I know FRS is the fortified resin system. 2 coats on here for a crazy durable coating. Your IPC is really cool to have applied to this really long butt section because it's the integrated poly curve. So they're able to go in on the graphite rolling design and on the mandrels and make it a perfectly smooth taper. There's no, you know, kind of narrow points, there's no hinge points. It's smooth all the way throughout the rod blank. And then to put that technology into a one piece, that's why it tracks like that. Like it feels wicked cool, and that's the IPC. And then the ART, it's like advanced reinforcement technology, but there's some scrim material in here inside the different layers of graphite, which is high modulus. It's, I think, SC4, which is up there with the Legend Elite from back in the day, right? So it's pretty high modulus. And then it has a scrim material wrapped kind of at a different angle, I believe, and it like increases the blank by like 10-fold in strength. So you have a very low diameter, light rod, ton of power that's tracking straight. This thing is sweet. And then the reel seat, for all you guys who like this stuff, it's not round, but it's kind of got like a molded plastic seat onto it so that your reel can't wobble left or right, and like it's fully integrated, so it has a flat platform to lay on, so it's never going to fall off of there or do anything weird. Titanium hook keeper, 3 titanium insert stripper guides. This whole rod is saltwater proofed, which is just wicked sweet. I love having 3 strippers. This thing comes way down off this rod, and it's even bent at an angle, which gives you a really nice low friction pull on your hauls, right? So this is reducing friction on your haul hand to get a really smooth draw of line through here to increase your line speed. And to have 3 of them, that's a lot of bang for your buck. That's pretty sweet. But it's got titanium snakes all the way up and a replaceable tip. This thing is sweet. Now this rod comes with a spare tip, and this rod's not in production anymore, so I'm gonna do something that's a little sketchy, and I'm gonna take my second tip and I'm gonna chop it. I'm gonna shorten it up. I don't know if I'll go here, that'd be like a 4-inch chop, or if I'll go a full 8. But I'm gonna try to get close to one of these snakes, and I'm gonna basically shorten the flimsier, I don't know, this is, I mean, it's thin diameter, but it's not that weak. But I mean, like, I have 2 tips, and I could kind of get 2 different rod styles out of this if I play my cards right. Of course, it is nice having a backup because breaking tips does happen in musky fishing, and that would be sad to lose a rod, but it's just a fun thing to do. So we're gonna go into my shop, and we're gonna sacrifice this to the musky gods and try to make it musky perfection. It's beautiful. It even has a number 11 on it. Sorry, little buddy. You're about to get chopped. Vice grips, pliers, a lighter. Shouldn't need any epoxy stuff. This right here is what screwing around is all about, right? This is what it's all about. For knowledge. Something like that. No, but seriously, that's pretty legit right there. It wasn't a super tippy rod, but we'll see. Let's see if we matched our diameters up here pretty well. It's a really nice guide. Original rod tips from Fuji. Nice color to it. Insert the works. It's a little big. I don't know if it'll fit on that lower one though. A little bit of glue. I say we try it. I say we try it. Let's get all melty welty on our glue here. You like that. You know you do. Get it. Just gonna smother this in some love. Get some. How does this make you feel? Do you feel like a fly rod that I love? I don't know. Are you questioning your existence at the moment? Probably. It's not a bad fit. I wish it was slightly tighter, but I didn't want to come down here just yet. I want to see how this kind of, because that's not bad right there. I like that. We'll give it a try. So all you need is a Dremel tool with a disc on there. That thing will eat through graphite like it's nobody's business. You pick a spot right below a snake guide. So we've chopped like 4.5 inches off of this rod to get to a thicker part here so that it doesn't buckle under sinking lines and stuff like that. You use some heat glue that you melt on there with a lighter, pair of vice grips, and I got a bunch of like cheap eyes or cheap guides. This is a pretty nice one. It's like a $4 guide that I've used on tip sections before because I like screwing around with stuff. So what's cool is I got 2 tips. So I still have the original full length 9-footer, and now I have like an 8'6". Let's go cast it. You can see my tip's a little bit beefier. It's probably designed for spin rods, whatever. I don't really care. And it doesn't have that nice clean epoxy transition, but that's what that flex coat in there was for. But that's what we did. Chopped her. Let's keep the good one over there. So besides kind of messing with the taper a little bit, it's also going to reduce that swing weight, or basically if you think about it, the leverage the fly line has on the rod. It's going to be easier to change that fly rod's tip position in space and have less resistance on it because you've reduced the length of the moment arm. What's interesting is it's definitely lighter on the tip, but it didn't get shocky. All my other rods that I've done this to get really shocky. They don't absorb the big flies very well. This feels very smooth. I haven't had one that feels smooth. Okay, it's gonna be sweet. Time to send it. Got to work on my loops in the grass. They're getting a little messy. Let's get you guys some slow-mo, huh? I don't know if you'll see the difference It's kind of hard to feel. Most of the time it's really easy to feel. The only thing that I can feel is that it just feels a little lighter now. As in the swing weight, the tip feels a little, it's easier to get the change of angle, the rotation, the pivoting around my wrist, if you will. So that is the St. Croix Soul, a fairly old discontinued rod, but it won Best in Show. And that's something cool that you can do. You know, if you have a rod that kind of buckles with sinking lines, if you have a rod that's kind of more like a saltwater flats rod, and you want to muskify it, this rod didn't technically need it, but what a cool opportunity because I have 2 tips. So like, why not mess with one of them and have the other one as a backup? Even if the short one breaks or the long one breaks, I'm not out a rod, which is pretty sweet. But that's what you do. You go in there, find a snake, cut just below it, and you can, you know, drop down 3 or 4 inches and then drop down 3 or 4 more. And you can kind of take what's kind of a ultra fast tipped buckley rod shorten it, reduce the swing weight, reduce the head weight, reduce the leverage the fly line has, change kind of how it bends because you're getting all that tip action, and now you're putting it kind of farther deep into the blank. And this whole one piece base, man, it kind of just took that chopped tip and made it feel really smooth, which is cool. I've never had that happen. Usually they feel a little shocky, but they throw streamers a heck of a lot better, and they throw sinking lines a heck of a lot better. So it's kind of a fun thing to do if you want to play with your rod's taper. A very fun thing to do if you have like old rods that you don't use and you want to kind of learn how they feel different or behave different, especially if you have a rod that you don't use and you want it to convert it to a sinking line use. That's kind of a nice thing to do to really chop off the flimsy little whippy tips. But that tip out of the box was not bad. It fished amazing. Of course, I don't have a big hulking fly on there, which is why I like this stiffer tip. But when you move to like a sink 5 and 7 or a sink 9 for deep dredging, now I have two options. Like this could be my floating line tip and that could be my sinking line tip. Like that's pretty cool. So that's the St. Croix Soul, an old rod, but man, that's a goodie. That is a goodie. So thanks for watching, guys. I don't know if I'll ever do a video like this again. It's kind of a rare opportunity to find a discontinued stick with a spare rod, but I figured why the heck not? See you in the next one. I don't like the look of the plastic, but I like the shape of it. And I like that that doesn't rotate and flimp around. It's flat. Fuji. It's a Fuji reel seat on there. Like it's a nice reel seat. You can see it probably adds a little bit of weight back here, like it bulks up the graphite, but your reel can't rotate around or come loose or move. It's kind of nice. Of course, 3 big old titanium strippers. Look at that bend. It really can eat it. Eat it. It does kind of have a little glassy parabola to it. Man, we need to get a musky on this thing.